Hey guys, Mike here again. I am super busy and I haven't been able to do many videos, but I wanted to get this one out just really quickly because I know there's some Teva bulls out there and people who own Teva, and I've done a bunch of videos on this, and I wanted to let you know that I have sold this and I've taken the money from Teva and I've bought Meta with it. Now, don't take this as an indication that I think the thesis is defunct or anything. I don't think it is. I do think that there is a very good possibility for the stock moving up, $20, $25 at some point when they finish clearing up these overhanging clouds. So we had the litigation, which is clearly coming to an end at some point here. Now, they're a pharmaceutical company, so they'll be sued from now until the end of time. But these are the huge ones that we want to get rid of to clear up that gray cloud. Now, there's also the debt that I talk about a lot of the time, and that again, I think they're still on track to cut that debt down to their target level by the end of next year. It might take a little bit longer, it might be a little bit shorter, but I think within 18 months, we're going to see that. And what that will do is that will free up a whole bunch of free cash flow to do dividends, to maybe buy more debt back. I'm not really sure if that's their plan. They could do buybacks, they could invest in growth, they could go back, build R&D up again to build up their pipeline. But that gives them some options. They haven't had options for years because they just had to pay debt down. So that's the big one. And I do think that they're going to get some growth at some point. Like I said in the last video, the Copaxone problem is nearly done. That drag on the revenue is like almost played itself out. And so that is, I think they'll start showing at least, single digit revenue, low to mid single digits at some point in the next, year or two. Now, the net result of this position for me was I bought at 780 in late last year, and I sold it at 840, so 60 cents. What's that? About 7% return. That's a 7% up. That's not a great return. I did better on the puts that I sold. I think I was up 24% on those. But when you look at it in context of what the market did since then, I think the market is down, S&P's down, 25%. NASDAQ's down 35%. Russell's down 35% as well. Like that. So Teva has done well for me over the last year. So if you say 25% loss in the S&P plus 8% gain, that was actually a 33% beat on the market for the last year. So I think that shows that buying stuff, that's one example of how buying stuff at ridiculously cheap price to cash flow rates can put a floor under your investments if the cash flows keep up, of course. Like sometimes they don't keep up and then this thing just falls. So score one for the value stocks, but really what's happened for me is at the end of last year, I was mostly in oil. I had about half my portfolio in oil and gas, and then what else? And some other value stocks like Teva and Central Puerto and some other ones. And so I didn't really have a lot of quality in my portfolio because that was all the market was giving me. It was giving me oil and gas cheap, and it was giving me these unloved value stocks cheap. So I just bought them, right? Like I'm a guy who plays the hand I'm dealt, and the hand that I was dealt was, no growth for you. You're not going to get anything like of quality this year at reasonable prices. So I just said, okay, I'll buy the value. Give me that stuff. And what's happened this year is I've transitioned from all that kind of value, one-off mean reversion kind of stuff. That's what Teva is. It's basically a one-off move that I'm looking for to like $20 or higher. And then I would have to get rid of it because it's not something I want to hold long-term. And that was the same with oil and gas. As soon as oil, the price of a barrel of oil and the price of natural gas went skyrocketing sort of like early this year. Before I wasn't really in them much at the time of the Ukraine invasion, but I'd been trimming them back. But as soon as they started going up, I started trimming those positions because I bought them when they were when oil was at $30 or something. And again, one-off mean reversion, I got my gain. And now what I'm looking for is I want a basket of really high quality stocks, and I don't want to pay high prices. I'm too cheap. I don't like paying up for stuff. I just can't do it. It's not part of my makeup. So, but this year we've been getting opportunities at that. Like this is a really nice market to buy quality in, I think, if you're willing to wait it out. So if anybody here is watching this because of the Meta, I'll put Meta in the title. I basically switched Teva for Meta, and I'll do a video on Meta on what I think the the investment argument is there. But I have owned it basically since from between 2016 and 2021, and I sold it right around 350. I can't remember the exact number, but it was around 350. I wrote it from 90 to 350 with a few trades in between, and I didn't expect to get an opportunity to get back in. I just thought, I was getting future value for Meta in last year, so I just took the money off the table. But now I'm getting an opportunity to get back in at 130, 130. I think 138 was where I got in. But back to Teva. So one thing I would mention, if you guys are Teva, if anybody's Teva bull, CEO Schultz has said he's not going to renew his contract in next year. So he's done in November next year. And I think that's a bit of a problem, because part of my thesis was this guy does what he says and he does stuff well. And he's a great executor. And I would not feel as comfortable in the stock without him there. So that's a bit of a red flag. I do think he's going to hand the company over in a heck of a lot better state than he got it in. And so the next CEO is going to be set up a lot better. So that's good for Teva. But just keep that in mind if you are holding this stock. You might want to keep an eye on who they hire as a CEO, because I do think it matters in this business. This is not a business that an idiot can run, like the famous Buffett quote. I think he said, you want businesses that an idiot can run. And Teva, I don't think is that, because we've seen what happened before the smart guy came in. The board was running the company, and they just blew the company up with debt. So not sure what else I need to say about this, but I will keep an eye on it. I will keep it on my watch list. I'm going to keep an eye on the what they do and where the debt goes, and if the growth shows up. And especially I'll keep an eye on the price. Like I said, if it goes below 7, I might consider selling puts again. But I hope that's not too disappointing for you Teva bulls out there, but I just wanted to be straight up about what I've done and give you the heads up. Not financial advice, as I'm sure I don't need to say, but I hope you got some value for this. And if you haven't subscribed, maybe hit subscribe, maybe hit like. And if you don't want to, that's totally fine too. All right, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.